The following program is presented by Mazda Quality Cars and Commercials and your local Mazda dealer.
Good evening. In my experience, the most dramatic game I've ever televised was a South-West clash back in 1976 at today's ground, Lidcombe. The Magpies won on that day a magnificent fluctuating game, 17-13. But I still remember with awe a try scored by South hooker George Piggins, a solo effort which for sheer courage had no equal. Hopefully today's clash will reach those heights. Now, for the big match, the Magpies have gambled with an 18-year-old youngster, David Green, in the critical fullback role to replace their regular man, Wayne Smith, and reports on Green are that he's got loads of potential. Paul Merlot is a loss. He's been in very good form. In his place, George Fard, a young goer, gets the nod in the second row. Well, South's disappointment at their midweek penalty count-back loss will ensure their famous spirit is high for today's match. Captain Mitch Brennan is out of the centre, replaced by the chunky Robert Simpkins, who's been playing as lock in the second grade. Ken Wright, the field goal expert, resumes at 5'8", keeping the talented Mick Patterson in reserve grade. Finally, Gary Metcalf is the forward left out of a 7-man selection. Now, as a result of yesterday's win by East over North, the Bears stay on 29 points. So, if the Magpies win today, they move into third place on 30 points, with Souths and Norths level on 29 in fourth spot. Since January 1960, there have been 46 games between the two clubs. Wests have won 24, Souths have won 21, drawn 1. At Lidcombe, there have been 10 games. Wests have won 6, Souths 4. Western Suburbs, led by their skipper, Warren Boland. The full side, David Green, Steve Broughton, Steve Anderson, Ross Conlon, Warren Boland, Terry Lamb, Greg Cox, Jim Lease, George Fard, Michael Duke, Terry Leabeater, Gary Collison, Bruce Clark. Coach Terry Fernley. The Rabbitohs, Steve Walsh, Ziggy Niscott, Robert Simpkins, Tony Melrose, Stan Brown, Ken Wright, Craig Coleman, Shane Arneal, Peter Tunks, Michael Carberry, Gary Hamley, Ken Stewart, who's the captain, Peter Smith, and the coach, Bill Anderson. The referee, Mr. John Gauchard. Brilliant sunshine, magnificent day here for rugby league at Lidcombe Oval. Souths and Wests receive the ball from the kickoff, playing in their black uniform with the white. South Sydney, very familiar to 7 big league viewers, in the red, white and green. Boland takes that. Barry Ross is on the sideline.
Yes, and perfect conditions, as you said, for rugby league, Rex. The ground in good conditions, a slight wind favouring South Sydney, and Western Suburbs won this toss and elected to run into this win in the first half.
All right, we'll play now only about 11 yards out from the West's goal line. A little better on the surge. Back it goes from Collison to Lamb. The kick's charged down. How often have we seen that recently? Melrose takes it. It's a dangerous place to have a ricochet. Well, that looked perhaps a little bit marginal, that pass, but Carberry comes up with it. Neil wrapped up straight away. John Gauchard, of course, fresh from his 2 tests, New Zealand and New Guinea.
One test, Rex, and the other was just a provincial match against the New Zealand side up in Rabaul.
Well, he's 2 matches. Carberry again. Important match for both of these sides. Stewart captaining the side for the first time today. Ken Wright with the game early with a punt that puts young Green under pressure. He took that very well. He must have had his heart in his mouth for that one too. This is an 18-year-old 12th form schoolboy who's still at St Gregory's as a student, is in the Australian schoolboys side to go to New Zealand this year. And I reckon his heart was just around about the back of his Adam's apple at that moment. Results of the earlier matches in reserve grade: South 18, West 5. Third grade, West 26, South 22. Pushing each other out of the way, a bit bunched up there in the ruck. Look for the kick. Jim Lease gets a pass back inside. Oh, there's one on the ground. So Wests are living a bit dangerously in the opening moments. A couple of ragged passes been thrown. Anderson had to go down to that one. Very much a tentative opening from both sides. Look at that those back line there. If we can get a wide shot, they could shake hands with each other. Lease. It's up to the side whose feet it is to get their backs a little bit deeper. To halfway goes Lebeater. Collison, Lamb, Clark. Got a pass away and it's gone to ground. And Souths have lost it. West back in possession, 6 to go. It was Green that came up with that ball. Cox spins away from the sideline. Lease, a run around. Duke, slowly to his feet. Collison. Lamb. Lease. Fard was standing wide. Lease. Common. Lamb. There's Green, the fullback. And plenty of involvement for the lad. Cox the grubber kick, ricochets, back to him, 6 to go. Just to touch the South player on the hand on the way through. Lamb, Lease. Back there to George Fard. Still it goes out. Lamb, Anderson. He's got pace, this lad. He was a Parramatta junior, wasn't he, Barry Ross?
Yes, that's right, from the Liverpool area. I believe he tried for Parramatta and didn't make the grade, so he came here.
There's Big Walker, Big Clark, rather. Bruce Clark. Conlon, Lamb, nicely taken, little dummy, he's through! Lamb's got support, Broughton's there for it, and it's a try in the corner, good one! Did you see Liebert, did you see Broughton there accelerate when he knew the try was on? He went 2 to 1. See it again. 16th try of the year for this lad. Now it's good work by Lamb, the dummy and through. Ken Wright missed the tackle. Now look at Broughton accelerate there. Oh yes, loves to score the try from head on. Came from nothing, just very classy work by Lamb. Little dummy, acceleration. Broughton, who was about 10 yards behind at the start of the sprint, finished up level with him. Oh yes, good try. The quarter and the sideline, Breeze. 3-0. Results of the earlier games again. Third grade, West 26, South 22. Reserve grade, South 18, West 5. There's Green probing. Lease. Oh, fell like a tree. It was a top tackle from Little Coleman, right round the boots. Duke. Hitting the line hard was Fard. Cox. And well taken, Ziggy Niscott. O'Neill. Coleman. Simpkin. Replacing Mitch Brennan, the South Sydney captain.
Peter Tunks for South Sydney second rower down in back plate.
Coleman. Right. Swung to the ground just short of the halfway line. Last tackle for South Sydney. Melrose. Loose pass along the ground. Picked up by Brown. Gone right through the middle. Dick shoulder charged in there. Referee says play on as Boland comes up with it. It's a long pass away to Lamb. Good defence up the middle of the field there by Shane O'Neill. Tuck still down, receiving attention at the other end of the field. Cox. Broughton. Collison on the run around with Lee Beater. Lamb. Lease. All lob pass that's been intercepted and lost. Picked up again by West. They're living very dangerously near their own line. There's 6 to go. Terry Lamb would do well to keep his arms down when he gets up and plays the ball. Walking off the mark with the arms outstretched will get a penalty against him. Just in their own quarter. Cox a long pass out to Conlon. Broughton getting plenty of work out in the wing here. He stood and he's got up. He's got some pace there. Oh, and it's a despairing dive. Put him down, but he's got up again and still going. And that was Carberry who came across in great cover. It's a memorable one. Lamb, nicely onto Conlon, who came on the burst off the pass. Back inside there to Lamb. Lamb is accelerating, throws it anywhere. Who's got it? Oh, it's been looped up magnificently by, I think, Lease. Out to Boland, and Boland's going to score a fantastic try. I think Anderson was involved in that too, out wide. Oh dear, that's torn the heart out of South Sydney, that one. That could well be classified in some quarters as the try of the season. What a classy bit of football, see it. That came from a good break up the sideline by Broughton initially. The pass given and taken, Conlon back to Lamb. Weaves, throws it anywhere. Lisa looping sort of pass underneath the arms to Anderson. And Boland changed direction and came back inside. Quality play. All from that great run by Broughton beating Niscott up the left. Conlon's acceleration. Beautiful switch of play to Lamb. Watch Lamb's pass over the top. Oranges, now watch Lease. Where did he get that one from? Out to Anderson. Boland. Boland steps back on the inside, beats Melrose and goes round and improves slightly. 10 yards in from the sideline. Cox, a yard inside the quarter. Second kick. And that wafts away to the left, and the score remains 2 tries to 0. 6-0, Westway.
And the car exit is down the back of the ground and out to Olympic Drive.
From the restart, Boland involved straight away again. Significant to note that the 2 West wingers have scored tries.
They have 29 between them, 21 between them this season, but Broughton's got 16 of those.
10 yards from halfway. West getting a lot of confidence. Really, right from the outset, they've thrown some extravagant passes. And kicks downfield, it looks like a good one. And just beats Niscott over the sideline. And that's up to the quarter line from Lamb, a good kick.
Tonight in a town like Gallas,
That's South ball. Coleman. Oh, Neil's got himself into a gap here. Walsh is in the clear. The ball's been touched in flight. West smother up and get possession out of all that. Well, South Sydney, whether they should have scored a try is another matter, but they should have finished up with possession there.
Yes, and 5 tackles to go. They've lost the ball quite a lot in attacking positions today, South.
Lee Beater just outside his quarter. Cox. There's Clark. Nicely to Conlon. And then to Collison, who loses it back to South Sydney, picked up by Carberry. That looked promising. Lord Ted Goodwin. Watching carefully. Lord Ted played reserve grade today. Still a big lad. A lot of ball skills, but looks a little bit out of condition. Another Shepherd there, ruled against the little halfback Coleman. That error count started to creep up.
South Sydney tried and helping Michael Carberry put his boot on.
for our tackle of the week in this match, as we do in all of them. Corrugated paper tackle of the week has excited a lot of interest in the rugby league world. We come up with some splendid examples every week. One by Carberry on Broughton, the dive that tripped him up. It's the sort of thing. Lovely pick up there by Lamb. Anderson.
You notice with Carberry, Rex, he's playing without a boot at the moment. The trainer has it in his hand on the far side of the field.
Well, he's not strictly allowed to do that. The rules specify how a player should be dressed. Cox has kicked too far. Walsh takes that without any pressure at all. Well, there he is, Carberry, jogging around without a right boot. South look a little bit disorganised at the moment. They're in a bunch, they're not spread. Hamley. Smith. They're all going just one out at the moment, South Sydney. They're not looking for support. Carberry. Kenny Wright, I'm sure that's not what he intended that kick to do. Jumped for well by Lebeater. Wright got a bit of a serve after the kick. Boland. Oh dear, some terrible handling. Knocked back according to referee Gosha. The crowd have a bit of a roar at that one. Got the impression it went slightly forward. Now Wests are all in a bunch. Get off him, says referee Gosha.
Canterbury 15, Penrith 5, and Balmain 14 to George 3.
A kick from Cox's into South Sydney's quarter. Lebeater. Greg Cox had no one there on the blind side to pass to. Oh, heavy stuff. Michael Duke upended. Tunks. Lamb. Collison. Fard. Collison finds Jim Lease. Carberry's tackle unseats him. Lamb, little grubber kick through from Broughton. Escott chasing it. Gets to it first in the in goal. We've got a minute to half time, according to our clock. We're looking for our best footballer of our weekly telecast match. He'll be called the King G Footballer of the Week, receiving $400 and appearing on Sports World. The weekly award winners will be judged by our Controversy Corner panel on Sports World at the end of the year. The overall winner will be named the Mazda Footballer of the Year and receive a magnificent Mazda RX-7 as his prize, $17,500 worth. The player responsible for the try of the match receiving $150, and the player responsible for the Mazda Try of the Year, a mighty Mazda 626 valued at $9,564. Wests. Time running out. Cox gets another bomb up. Hasn't gone far enough forward. And Stan Brown leapt well for that. Got to get the second attempt. We reckon, according to our clock, there's not terribly much time. Probably 25 seconds to go. Arneal. Statistics in this first half. The scrums have gone to South Sydney 5-4. The penalties 4-3 to Wests. The try scorers for Wests have been in their 6-0 lead. Steve Broughton and Warren Boland tries, with the Boland try being as good as anything you'd ever see. Coleman is the hooter. Carberry, oh, close to getting right through, but a good tackle unseated him from Terry Lamb. And at the half-time break, with the applause of the Western Suburbs supporters ringing in their ears, West leave the field with South Sydney. And we'll be back in just a moment with some more action on Sevens Big League. 6-0, Western Suburbs lead, and away they go for the second half. The ball kicked over the dead ball line. Restart from the quarter line, South Sydney's end. West leading 6 points to 0. Barry Ross.
Yes, and Terry Fernley complimented his side on their effort in that first half. He did say they dropped a little bit of the ball, but they're to tighten up in defence and keep the pressure on this South Sydney side. He wants the Western Suburbs boys to use their wings. He thinks they've got a superiority there, and he wants them to spin the ball wide. Bill Anderson, meanwhile, on the South Sydney side, he made one change at half-time. Tony Rampling is on for Peter Tunks, who I think has got a leg injury, and Bill's a bit concerned. He said, we're looking tight. He said, but it's not because of the two scup, it's because we can't get the ball, and when we do get it, we're not holding it.
All right, well, there was a penalty from that restart. Western Suburbs were inside the 10 from the quarter line restart. Tony Rampling, who's on in number 25, replacing Peter Tunks. Stewart, Coleman, Niscott. So that could make for a bit of spectacular football if West stick to that plan that Terry Fernley wants. The ball spread wide, and for their try-scoring wingers Broughton and Boland. About 8 yards inside South's half. Last tackle for South Sydney. Stewart. Melrose kicks tactically. It's going to find touch up near Western Suburbs quarter.
876, 28,876. Second flyers.
There's Gary Collison, the scrum stat, 43 from 92, success rate 46.7%. He hasn't played all that many games in first grade.
918, 2891.
It's only about 3 games in first grade, but came on as a replacement in 2 or 3 others. An interesting fact about Gary Collison is the fact that when he has played first grade, though, Western Suburbs haven't lost this year.
And those prizes can be collected at the back of the grandstand in the broadcast area after first grade.
Well, it's a little bit hard to hear ourselves over the PA here, which seems to go fairly regularly. Now there's Rampling, who's making an instant impact. Strong charge. Stewart, Coleman, Carberry. Still about 11 yards out. And still with Brown. Now Coleman. Smith. Still surging ahead. Carried the ball, although he was tackled about 10 yards. Last tackle. Carberry, Rampling trying to bulldoze his way over, and that's the 6. Referee wants that scrum down again.
We have 2 urgent calls with Mark Dever. Please ring home. Mark Dever, call home urgently, please. And the driver of a Toyota Crown BGX150, please return to your car immediately. Toyota Crown BGX150, please return to your car immediately.
Lee Beater, now that the PA is stopped, we're on with the business.
Lee Beater was the top of the Western Suburbs tackle count at half-time with 17, followed by Lease with 13 and Terry Lamb 8.
Clark, the prop who always tries to get himself into a position to unload. Big lump of a lad. Oh, that was well taken by Fard. It was behind his head. South defence built him backwards. Collison, Lease, dummy and a straight. Lobs a pass back on the inside. Conlon's got it and he's off. He's got Lamb on the outside of him. Conlon's got the pace. He's going hard for the line, but he's going to be picked off. The pass has gone forward, I think, to Boland. He's held up. Gets it back to Anderson. Anderson gets it back on the inside. That was knocked on surely by Lee Beater, and he bangs it down in disgust. I thought the pass to Boland went forward from Conlon. The referee thought otherwise, allowed play to proceed. Stay with the action here. It's the South Sydney ball. O'Neill at dummy half. Carberry. Well, Duke ran up quickly to cut off Wright on the kick. Green goes back. And he's tackled 11 yards short of the halfway line. That's the West fullback. Broughton. Lease. Cox. George Fard. 10 yards from halfway. 6-0 Western Suburbs lead Cox. Clark, a nice pass, but wrapped up straight away was Broughton. Leabeater. Collison. Lamb. Duke. Conlon. Anderson. Melrose belts him to the ground. And that's the 6. That's a penalty against Cox, using his foot to rake the ball back. Differential. Quick tap taken by South. Carberry on the burst off Coleman. Stewart. Rampling. Stewart again. Coleman. Smith. West defence equal to the task of players running one out at them. Coleman. Sidestepping, jumping around like a little jack-in-the-box. Right, quick hands. Beautiful pass there outside to Stan Brown. Oh, he's beaten 2 of them. Gone over nicely. There was no try on there, and he just went on the sidestep. And a bit of a collision. See it again. Lovely pass from Ken Wright here. This one, quick hands, then way out right and off the foot, the slow down. And it was a pretty ordinary attempted defence, actually. There's the ball being spun wide. That pass was a good one. Well, 2 of them got in each other's way virtually, but his change of direction baffled both of them. Melrose, a yard out from the quarter, 5 yards in from the sideline. No breeze to speak of. Strikes that well. It's gone just away to the right. So the score remains as it was. Western Suburbs 6, South 3. Yards from South quarter. Leabeater. Clark. On the blind side. Just into the quarter went Lease. Cox. Fard. Now the West back line ready to fire. Cox. The bomb goes up. It's too far, I think. It's hit the upright. Come back into the field of play. Evaded 1. And it's over the dead ball line. That went every which way. Hairy moment there for South Sydney. Line dropped to restart. Green. Hamley's got him in a bear hug. Puts him down rather gently, I thought. Quite roaring for shepherding there, but I don't think there was any real impeding of the defender. Fard. Good tackle from Smith, stopped his forward progress. Cox, switch of play. Clark.
Bill Anderson has Mark Ross doing some stretching exercises on the sideline.
Least with a little kick through. Broughton leapt for it. It's been kicked ahead. And it's over the touch and goal line. It'll be a restart because it came off Broughton at the quarter line for South Sydney. Stewart. Coleman. Oh, terrible pass. West have come up with the ball, and this is good for the Magpies in South's quarter with 6 to go. Duke. Collison. Bowen. Lamb. Green. Cox. Lease. Beautiful pass out to Conlon. Conlon's going hard. The lob back on the inside. Oh! Broughton took it magnificently. Leapt high. Scored his second try, and what a try. See it again. 17 tries for the year. Out it goes. Everyone doing his job beautifully. That pass was the good one. But watch this one. On the inside, they called it oranges when I was playing. And Broughton beautifully pulled down from head on. The beautiful chain passing, drawing the defence and unloading quickly. Now Conlon, exactly the right thing. And both feet off the ground, took that beautifully. Very light breeze at the moment as Cox lines this up, probably slightly against him from the quarter line and 9 yards in from the sideline. Struck it. Oh, it's hit the upright. So the score remains as it was, West 9, South 3.
From
the kickoff. Green has it. Well, that kick's rolling end over end over end. Back into the quarter. Brown is ringed around and unseated just outside his quarter. Walsh will have to go from there because there's nobody to pass to.
Billy Anderson could be making 2 changes. Mark Ross and now David Boyle warming up on the sideline.
Coleman. Niscott. 9 yards outside their quarter. Hamley. Now there's Duke running offside. He's got to stay directly behind the man marking up. He can't stand at the side. His object is to cut off the ball receiver so that he can't get a kick in. It's the second time he's been penalised for it. Melrose kick was a good one. Hamley takes it again. Stewart swung to the ground. Coleman. Smith. They're looking for a hole on the edge of the ruck of a Smith lunge or a Smith burst. And the West defence is continually locking his arms together. Great tackle there on Simpkins. Greg Cox. Carberry up to the quarter, last tackle. Coleman, little grubber kick through. And Leabeater dives on it. It's Boland. Oh, he had Broughton on the fly on the outside of him. Fard. Clark fell like a tree. 15 yards out from his line. Lamb, nothing illegal about that. Walsh takes it. He's got Stan Brown with him. Unloads. Jimmy Lease, the tackler, on the halfway line. 6 points, 9 points to 3. Coleman shows the ball inside, gives it out. Simpkins. Smith away to Hamley. Here's the error situation. 7-all. That's the number of times each side's given it back to the opposition. Smith. That's the first time he's unloaded and Wright's on the boil. Carberry, switch of play across the ruck. Melrose, a kick in, but it's gone over the dead ball line. Landed on its point. Touch judge coming in. I think he's going to report that Melrose received a bit of a serve.
That's the replacement. Ken Wright's off and Mark Ross on.
Don't ever try anything like this yourself.
7:30 Monday, see one of Australia's top stuntmen, Ian Jamieson, set a new world's motorcycle jump record on... Find out how a group of...
Well, I can't understand why a backline with their own put-in stands so shallow as Souths are doing at the moment. Simpkins lost the ball. West have got it. Duke was the man that fell on it. Clark, long and a good pass there out to Anderson. Just over halfway. Lease. Carberry was there to drive him backwards. George Fard. Clark. Ball scruffed out to Broughton somehow. And Ross scurries him over the sideline.
Canterbury 17-all and Balmain 14 to George 10.
The scrum now 2 yards south side of halfway. Another scrum win to South Sydney. Those scrums are 10-8 in the Rabbitohs' favour. The penalties, however, are 7-5 in favour of South Sydney. Niscott. Coleman. Simpkin. Strong burst. Carberry. Coleman. Hamlin. And that's the 6. Well, a game that hasn't reached great heights. Souths have looked a little bit flat. That's a penalty to South Sydney. Feed across by Collison. Now then, the China goal. Puts them right back into it. There's a charge of a captain trying to steam his team up. And Smith slowly to his feet. Ball lost. Collison has it. And the error's mounting. 11-8 at this point in time, with South Sydney having much the worst of it.
So I think that's been a big factor in this game. They could have conceivably scored a try or two in the first half, and it would have been a different ball game then, but for some drop balls.
Just a couple of patches of brilliance by Western Suburbs have got them into this situation. 9-6 lead, 9-3 lead. Lamb's kick. Oh, it's going to roll back the other way, is it? It's just stayed. It's just got over the sideline. We'll see that again because that touched the line, and that's a good decision. The winger there, Brown, is not upset about that at all. He realised he arrived a fraction late. He did everything he could. Watch the ball closely. Watch the damn thing roll. There it is, just on the white line, and on the line is out. Penalty to Western Suburbs. You must face square on. And the mark was there, says Gosha. Differential. Now can Western Suburbs hang on? China goal doesn't get South Sydney back. They're into the last 5 minutes now. Jim Lease, who's had as good a game as anyone out there today, I think. Been involved in 2 of the tries. Clark. Be working it towards the post for a field goal attempt. Lamb standing on the right. Here he comes. That's successful. Well taken, well thought out. Just one of those things that made it a little bit more difficult for South Sydney. 10 points to 3. They have to score twice.
Which airline was born in...
Broughton still seeking that third try. I think he'd run from here to Sydney to get it. He's already scored 3 tries on one other occasion in a match this season.
That may have been Canberra.
I'd like to express appreciation to all of you who attended this afternoon. We have West supporters who come back to the game today.
Beautiful pass there. This is to Green. He's made the bust up the middle, giving it away to Lamb. There's support on the inside. He might go on with it. Yes, he does, and gets it back to Anderson. That's a beautiful try. A lovely injection by the fullback Green into the 3-quarter line, wide out. Has seen a 75-yard try in the dying stages to really wrap it up. And that was a classy bit of football. There's Green. Beautiful stuff. Drew the defence nicely, gave it to Lamb. Lamb looked for support, and Anderson, the pace of this lad. He positioned himself beautifully. I gather he likes to score the odd try. Right into the Winfield side. A long pass. Conlon inside the defence, came Green. From head on, Lamb calling for it there. Now watch Anderson position himself from left to right. My heavens, he's moving like a galloper. But perfectly positioned. And a great little sprint to finish it off. Great stuff by Anderson. And Cox gets one over at last. I think that's the first from 4. And the hooter's gone. I believe the hooter's gone in the background. So there it is. Western Suburbs 15, South Sydney 3. Our award winner today was Terry Lamb, the Western Suburbs 5'8", who was involved right up to his boot tops in 3 of the 4 Western Suburbs tries and had a very high tackle count. Still, the upsets continue at this late stage in the season. Western Suburbs 15, South 3 in our match. Parramatta 36, Newtown 0. Canberra 26, Illawarra 19. Manly 9, Cronulla 11. Penrith 17, Canterbury 21. St George 15, Balmain 16. Easts 18, Norths 7. Now the competition table takes a slightly different look with West moving up, and here's the situation. Parramatta 36, Manly 32, Wests 30, Souths and Norths 29, Canterbury 27, East 26. They're the only teams that can play a part in this competition. This has been Rex Mossop from...
This program was brought to you by Mazda Quality Cars and Commercials and your local Mazda dealer.